Even the most dedicated and passionate poolie will admit that the playoffs look but mere a distant dream at present. It would take title-winning form to turn around this campaign. As for Aldershot, they sit a place and a point outside, away from safety, I should say. So a win this afternoon for them could lift them out of the bottom four. It is a tall ask for both sides. They both have things to fight for. Many players in sky blue this afternoon, unsure of where their future lies beyond the end of the season. And there's a heavy touch from Tom Park straight from the kickoff, and Aldershot are in on goal, and from close range it's put wide, and Jack Barham was gifted, and I mean gifted, an opportunity on goal from kickoff. It went back to Tom Parks, a heavy first touch. Jack Barham robbed him of possession, stormed in on goal at the angle, and put his shot wide of the mark. It took a touch on its way. It's the first corner of the game, but how's that for a wake-up call, Robbie Stelling?
Well, Adam Smith does really well. He gets Tom Parks out of trouble. I have to say, in fairness to Parks, it's a really poor first touch, but you can already see the bobble on the pitch.
Corner, outswinger to the back post. It's headed away by Waterfall. The pitch has been a topic of conversation. Long into the penalty area once more, this time plucked out of the air by Josh Barrett. Comes out to this near side as Aldershot in their red and blue vertical stripes. A shot right on top of Adam Smith that he has to pedal backwards to grasp on his goal line. We're only a minute and 15 seconds in, and Pool's already been asked questions at the back. Long ball forward now for Adam Campbell, who beats the goalkeeper to the ball. He tries to cut it back to the back post, but the offside flag is up. And I tell you what, we have a game on our hands, Robbie Stelling of the Hartlepool Mail.
We certainly do, Rob. Often after these long trips, long journey for both of us, I look forward to a quiet first 10 or 15 minutes, ease myself into the commentary, don't have to worry about the report too much, but it's been a really frenetic start. You just wonder how much of a role the pitch is going to play. It looks like it's going to be incredibly difficult for defenders, particularly on this near side opposite in front of us, where Jack Robinson is obviously making his first Pool start. Tom Parks has already made one really glaring error. You would imagine that both sides will fancy their chances in the final third here today.
So Pools didn't have a chance to go through the usual format. So Pools kicking from right to left in this first half. They are in the sky blue away kit, as Spennymoor have taken the lead against Kidderminster in a crunch game at the top end of the National League North. So Kidderminster 0, Spennymoor Town 1. A fast start for Graham Lee's side there. We'll keep you up to date with Darlington against Kings Lynn as well. Pools make 5 changes coming into this afternoon's game. In comes Jack Robinson for his first start. Nathan Sherrin back from suspension. Tom Parks back from injury in the centre of defence. Luke Charman and Gary Medine start up the top end of the pitch, and crucially it is a change in formation as well. 4-2-3-1, Smith in goal. The back four of Sherrin, Parks, Waterfall and Robinson. Hunter and Miley the deepest lying of the two midfielders. Then Luke Charman, Adam Campbell and Riaz Cleary a forward 3, supplying Gary Medine as the sole striker. On the bench for Pools, Owen Foster, Billy Sass-Davies, David Ferguson, Nicky Featherstone, Sam Falarin, Joe Gray and Manny Dizaruwe. Meanwhile, Aldershot, as Pools have a free kick deep inside their own half. 2 changes. Out goes Theo Widrington and Kai Corbett. So in comes Luke Jenkins and Ryan Jones. They play in a 3-4-1-2 formation. Mark Dewhurst in goal. The 3 is Will Armitage on loan from Southampton, Luca Woodhouse and Luke Jenkins. The wing-backs of Aaron Jones and Oliver Scott. The midfielders of Tyler Frost and Cameron Hargreaves. Ryan Jones playing in the 10 role just behind Josh Barrett, who has 4 in his last 5 and 11 for the season. And Jack Barham, who has 9 for the campaign and probably should have had his 10th in the opening minute of the game when he robbed Tom Parks of possession, got to the angle and saw his shot saved by Adam Smith at the front post.
And for all it was a really good save by Adam Smith, Jack Barham's going to be kicking himself, because he's got all the time in the world. He's obviously been in decent form, knows where the goal is. You know, just either side of the goalkeeper, you feel like there's nothing Smith can do about that. And from an Aldershot point of view, they'll probably be thinking that's just how things are going for them at the minute. But a really nervous start from Pools. I imagine the next time we see Tom Parks get the ball, he won't be taking a touch.
It's not the type of surface for pretty football, is it? It doesn't allow it. There is a sand pit down on this near side that runs from midway inside the Aldershot half away to our left, right across to midway inside the Pools half. So it's right along this near side of the pitch as Parks looks over the top, and Pools have gone route one early on, and already the pitch cutting up into big chunks as the latest train chugs past over on the far side. Blue skies above us, just the odd cloud lurking in the distance. The travelling poolies in attendance over on the stand opposite us, which includes a young fan who we met earlier today. More on that shortly, because Luke Charman has the ball at his feet, just gets caught up in the turf a little bit there. Now to Sherron, back to Charman, who saw the ball bobble, bounce and run out of play for a throw-in to Aldershot inside their own half. Yes, so a very good afternoon to Paul Freeman and his 5-year-old son Carter, who we met before kick-off, taking Carter to his very first game this afternoon. And Carter very excited, even got to give a birthday card to his favourite Pools player, Manny Disarue, earlier on, and it was very, very kind of him, Robbie, that Paul, who celebrated his 50th birthday midweek, brought us some birthday cake for half-time.
Yeah, fantastic. Great to see, and hopefully the first of many Pools games for Carter. He's predicting a 2-1 win this afternoon, isn't he? Let's hope he's right.
Ball over the top from Miley. Adam Campbell is in, but he's offside, and not for the first time. He finishes the ball into the back of the net cutely, but the offside flag is up, and that move and that goal disallowed.
That's positive though, Rob. Adam Campbell has obviously had some well-documented struggles in recent weeks, but one of the things that I want to see from him more is making those runs beyond the striker, getting in behind defenders. I wonder whether, when you have the two up front of Gary Medine and Manny Disarue, Campbell is more inclined to drop and try and pick up loose balls in front of the defence. But I think that he can be really effective because he's got a good turn of pace. His movement is very impressive. I think he can be really effective running in behind, so that's a positive sign.
The ball bounces free inside the Pools half, headed forward by Jones for Aldershot. Barham hooks it back to Jones, playing as the right wing back. Little dip of the shoulder as he turns away from Cleary. Now Will Armitage goes back to his goalkeeper and Marcus Dewhurst, who launches it long. Dewhurst dressed all in orange this afternoon with the short sleeve, the thick white goalkeeping gloves which run almost up to his elbows as the ball drops out of play over on the far side. BBC Radio T Sport, we're everywhere this afternoon. 95 FM, DAB digital radio, we're online via BBC Sounds and the BBC Football website. 8 minutes in, Aldershot 0, Pools 0, a game that hung in suspense from last night when it was announced there was a pitch inspection, but 2 inspections later we do have a game as a big chunk of sand comes up from underneath the feet of Riaz Cleary as he closes his man down. Aldershot searching over the top looking for Barham, but he's beaten to it by Parks, picked up by Miley in his own half, then just thrown to the turf, or the sand pit should I say. He'll have to shake his boots out after that, won't he?
He will. You know, we've spoken about the pitch at the Prestige Group Stadium quite a lot in recent weeks. This is obviously in a different league. They've had some big problems, Aldershot, for a number of weeks now. Credit to the ground staff for getting the game on, has to be said, but it is going to be a problem this afternoon, I think.
Adam Smith takes the free kick, launches it deep into the Aldershot penalty area. It bounces out for a goal kick. On the changes, Robbie, Robbie Stelling from the Hartlepool Mail with us on commentary this afternoon. Jack Robinson, his first start in a Pools shirt. Interested to see what he will bring.
Yeah, exactly, and actually started well enough, I think. I agree with you that David Ferguson's probably a little bit unfortunate, sometimes unfairly criticised, even scapegoated, but has been, with one or two exceptions, generally pretty good, I would say, since the departure of Darren Sarll. But Pools signed a left-back in Matthew Bonswell. They had him for 3 months and only gave him one start and one National League substitute appearance. So I think it's important that Robinson is given those opportunities to prove that he deserves to stay at Pools beyond this season.
As Pools win a free kick just beyond the halfway line. Referee Ross Martin, a watchful eye over the action there. So Pools with a chance to put this one into a dangerous position. Jamie Miley collects the ball to deliver it. You can see Tommy Widrington right down in front of us. He lives and breathes every touch, does the shots manager. Miley with the free kick, a puff of sand as he dispatches this one upfield, and it's over the head of Waterfall and out for a goal kick. Riaz Cleary, interesting to see what happens with him. His loan from West Bromwich Albion will be up very, very shortly. Pools told us, didn't they, Robbie, that they're working to try and extend that and see if they can at least do that until the end of the season.
Well, you'd be very keen to keep him. I think you will struggle to get him beyond this season because of how well he's done. He's obviously still young, he's got a good reputation. He, of course, would like to prove to West Brom that he deserves a new deal there, but given that West Brom are challenging for promotion in the Championship, I think he's unlikely to get his opportunity this season. So hopefully Pools can extend it.
Tommy Widrington just turns to vent his frustration at the linesman on this near side as Pools win a free kick. It's launched out to the right for Charman, who collects it, being closely watched though by Oliver Scott. Twists and turns does Charman, finds just an ounce of space at the byline, gets his cross low towards Miley, just tries to shield the ball with his body, but it's cleared by Aldershot deep into the Pools half of play over on the far side. It's housing the travelling Poolies. Flicked on header from Campbell, finds a thigh of Medine in towards Cleary, who's breathing down the neck of his opposite number, but Aldershot are able to clear momentarily. We'll be over to Ray Simpson, who's watching Darlington very shortly. Pools building though on the edge of the Aldershot penalty area. Campbell out to the right for Charman, tries to skip past one. The low cross is delivered towards Campbell, sweeps it goalwards, it rebounds and ricochets and goes behind for a goal kick. That was a chance for Pools, but while we have this stop in play, let's go to the National League North. Ray Simpson watching Darlington against Kings Lynn in a top of the table clash. Ray.
11 minutes gone, it's Darlington 1, Kings Lynn 0. There's only been one chance so far, but how well it was taken by Darlington fullback Callan Griffiths. Left wing cross by Caden Kelly was cleared by the Kings Lynn defence as far as Griffiths, about 30 yards out, and he struck a cracking right foot shot into the bottom left-hand corner of the net for his second goal of the season. Great start for Quakers. Darlington 1, Kings Lynn 0.
Thank you for that, Ray. We'll keep you right across all the action involving Darlington and Spennymoor this afternoon in the National League North. Our featured commentary here in the National League. Pools at Aldershot as Adam Campbell flicks the ball beautifully over the top of the defence out for Riaz Cleary. He's got Robinson on the overlap. The ball inadvertently bobbles underneath the feet of Robinson and it's cleared by Aldershot only as far as Parks, and Jack Barham is running back towards his own goal. The Pools win possession. There was a shove in the back there on Barham, which I think Pools were perhaps lucky to get away with as they work it back to goalkeeper Adam Smith. And just as that ball trickled through to Smith there, you saw the ball bounce up out of a big divot on the edge of the area. It is certainly a dangerous afternoon to pass the ball back to your goalkeeper.
It is. I wouldn't want to be a goalkeeper this afternoon, and I think if you're Tommy Widrington or Anthony Limbrick, you've got to say, look, let's try and use that option as sparingly as possible, because there are a lot of bobbles, a lot of unpredictable bounces in this pitch. We've already seen Tom Parks be deceived by one inside 10 seconds, so both sides have got to be careful there.
Pools looking to make it back-to-back away wins for the first time since the very start of the season, winning in their first game of the campaign at Yeovil. That was followed up by a win on the road at Tamworth. since the start of the campaign. They've failed to win twice on the road as Medine and Cleary link up well just beyond the halfway line. Riaz Cleary having his shirt pulled, and the referee allowed advantage to be played on, but then pulls it back for the free kick. Good refereeing that, I'd say.
Yeah, I think he should get a yellow card as well, mind you, because he's deliberately stopped a dangerous attack. He has got a yellow card. No attempt to get the ball. As we've already said, Reyes Cleary is just such a threat if he can get in behind. Playing quite narrow this afternoon, but I do think as well as he did at wing-back, if you play him in his favoured wide position, he's going to get in more dangerous positions than he might otherwise if he was playing a little bit deeper and having to worry about those defensive duties. So that's another promising sign from Pools.
15 minutes in, Pools at Aldershot. Aldershot 0, Pools 0. Pools 8 points from the playoffs. Aldershot 2 away from safety, sitting 4th from bottom in the relegation zone. Jack Robinson with a good delivery to the back post. It might fall for Campbell, and the flag is up. Campbell has the ball in the net again, but the flag is up for a foul, a shove in the back there from Gary Medine, I think, on his marker.
It was a good delivery there, Rob. You're quite right. I'm not sure there was that much of a shove, but it's one of those, probably you've only got to feel a little bit of contact and then you're inevitably going to go down and the referee's going to give it. That's fair enough, but a really promising delivery from Jack Robinson.
Fair to say the referee on Tuesday night, John Mulligan, wasn't a favourite.
No. I mean, I think that the handball decision that led to the opening goal, he got that wrong, didn't he, I think? Yeah,
and now Pools have an issue here because Jamie Miley is down and in some trouble. Aldershot were going to play on and then thought better of it, but Jamie Miley is thumping the turf in agony here as he's doubled over at the base of the centre circle inside the Pools half of the pitch. And Anthony Limbrick might be forced into an early change here.
I'm hoping he's going to be alright, Rob. It looked nasty at first, and as you say, he did thump the turf. Again, there's a slight concern, perhaps, given that the surface, given the underfoot conditions, that things could be worse. I think Aldershot would have liked the referee to allow play to continue, given that it wasn't a head injury. I can understand why he's taken the precaution, but let's hope Miley's going to be okay, because I thought he was good on Tuesday night, probably the best player in a Pool shirt, and he's made a decent start today as well.
As the ball heads his way, still limping quite heavily is Miley. Parks clears from the edge of his own box. Oh, a misplaced piece of control there at the back, and the referee saves Luke Jenkins there as the offside flag goes up on Gary Medine, and the free kick goes forward, headed away by Parks. Now Miley back to Parks, gets right underneath that as it hangs up in the blue sky the afternoon in Hampshire on the halfway line, and out of play, headed out for a Pools throw. So we'll keep you up to date with all the scores from around the grounds this afternoon. Some early games in the Championship. So Derby 0, Millwall 1, Plymouth 1, Cardiff 1. Cardiff ending the game there with 10 men. And Sunderland 0, Hull 1. I'll make that Sunderland's first home defeat of the season. And West Brom are leading Oxford by a goal to 0 as Jack Barham almost in again, but Tom Parks is across to sweep away the danger, and Gary Medine, trying to hold it up on the halfway line, is just waving his teammates a little bit closer to him, who are sitting very deep at the minute inside their own half.
How often do we say that, Rob? Pools have got arguably two of the best strikers in the division, but so often, sometimes even when they play together, they're so isolated. They do need more support. Okay, it was a slightly hair-raising moment at the other end. Luke Waterfall misjudged the flight of the bounce, but Pools, they've got four attacking players really on the pitch in Charman, Campbell, Cleary and Medine. They've got to make sure the three in behind Gary Medine get much closer to him.
As Hunter hooks the ball goalwards from the centre of midfield, wins the header as well. He's flicked on by Campbell, and Pools win a free kick. I get the impression we're going to mention the referee Ross Martin a lot this afternoon, because already, just short of 20 minutes in, he's blown for a lot of what many would consider, I think, soft free kicks.
Yeah, I think it is probably a difficult game to referee, though, you'd have to say. I can't imagine he's taken charge of too many in conditions like this.
Miley from the free kick, headed away as it was arrowed towards Luke Waterfall. Aldershot looking towards Josh Barrett on the halfway line, and now Barham might be in with the diagonal ball, and he is, but he's wide on the right hand side at the byline. Pulls scrambling bodies back, it comes to Jones, cuts it back behind everybody over to the far side, and still they have it, Aldershot, as they work it through to the centre of the pitch with Woodhouse. Back out to the left hand side, low ball given straight away to Campbell, and now Pools look to start the counter. Campbell finds Charman crossing the halfway line, drifting infield. His pass towards Medine is slowed up in the turf, but Medine finds Charman, back to Medine! Oh! And Medine scores! He hit it first time. It was low and it scrambled.
I think it's an own goal, Rob. I think it's an own goal.
It was low and it scrambled across the turf. Medine is the man who celebrates in sky blue. Whether it took a final touch off an Aldershot shirt remains to be seen. But Pools take the lead within 20 minutes. And that is just the start they needed.
Yeah, difficult to tell whether it was Gary Medine or an own goal. He was a little bit... he didn't celebrate that much, did he? But it was a good move from Pools because they just survived a nervous moment of their own. One thing with Aldershot's wing-backs, they do get forward well. Jamie Manley, I think, slightly naive, just didn't track his man. But Luke Charman did really well because it looked like the attack was going to run out of steam. He plays a lovely reverse pass, whether it was Medine or an outstretched Aldershot leg. It was a really dangerous, threatening pass into exactly the right area. He did really well. We often criticise his end product, but he was on the money there. And like you say, Rob, a great start for Pools.
Just what they needed after recent results. Whether it took a final touch, the debate's still going on in the press box. But the Poolies in attendance and those of you listening at home won't care too much. More so, the Anthony Limbrick side are the ones that are in the lead so early on. And you're right in what you say, Robbie. A sweeping counter from right to left, and you could see the ball slowing up every time. Luke Charman hit it in front of him to run onto. The reverse pass from Gary Medine sort of swept into the path of Charman, who then put it back across the edge of the box for Medine. And then the final touch still to be determined, so much so they haven't announced it on the PA system as yet. But Pools lead by a 1-0 as Jack Robinson finds Cleary, back to Robinson once more, turns to face goalwards, needs an option, hits one into the channel. Cleary was almost having the name and number ripped off the back of his sky blue shirt there by Jones. The Pools have a throw in as the ball runs out of play deep into the Aldershot half, away to our left as Pools attack. Jack Robinson down into the feet of Campbell, back to Robinson, over the top to Cleary, wide on the left hand side, rolls his studs across the top of the ball to the byline, cuts it back right over the top, a deep cross that's so deep in fact it's cleared by Tyler Frost over the halfway line. Waterfall beats his header up the pitch to Campbell. Nice turn from Hunter into space. Sharon down the line to Charman, who will claim an assist perhaps. Does really well to beat his man and then tries to deliver the cross, but it's blocked at close range, and Pools concede a free kick inside the shots half of play. So Aldershot 0, Pools 1. It's been given as a Tyler Frost own goal. Hartlepool United's Twitter page is saying it was Gary Medine, but the Vidi printer in front of me says a Tyler Frost own goal. Aldershot 1, Fylde 1 is also an early score, as is Rochdale 0, Barnet 1, and Solihull 0, Gateshead 1. Aldershot on the attack. Jones, deep cross into the penalty area, headed goalwards, and Adam Smith can claim that under the advances of Jack Barham, who is in very close proximity.
Yeah, I think it was good defending from Nathan Shearer.
Tamworth leading Southend by a 1-0. York 1, Halifax 2. So plenty of goals early on up and down the country in the National League this afternoon. If you're just joining us on BBC Radio T Sport, Middlesbrough falling to defeat last night against Bristol City at Ashton Gate of all places. a place that lives long in the hearts of Hartlepool United fans following their playoff victory against Torquay, what feels like a lifetime ago now, doesn't it?
Certainly does, Rob, you can say that again.
But Middlesbrough taking the lead only to get pegged back 2-1 and heaping yet more pressure on the shoulders of head coach Michael Carrick. All the post-match reaction to that you can hear in our latest episode of our Borough podcast, Red Alert, which is available on BBC Sounds. Ball forward that Tom Parks has to deal with. His header back to the goalkeeper is short, but Adam Smith denies Jack Barham, and the follow-up from Jones is wide of the mark. But again, Parks and Adam Smith on different wavelengths there. Parks' header was never going to reach Adam Smith from there, and Jack Barham had the space and the time for the second time in this match to find a way past Adam Smith. He tried to lift it over the Pool's keeper, but Smith did the full-on star jump to block it at close range and deny Aldershot an equaliser. It remains Aldershot 0, Pools 1 with 26 minutes on the clock.
He did really well again, Rob, not for the first time. The one thing about Adam Smith is once he makes a decision, he always seems to commit to it, and that's what's helped him make the save here. A concern from Pools that Tom Parks and Luke Waterfall, they both keep getting caught underneath the ball. You can see why Aldershot are so prepared to gamble and run in behind, because there are clearly opportunities to be had. But Smith, who's been in such good form really since being restored to the side in December, makes another really important save to keep his side ahead.
The pitch is disintegrating underneath the feet of the players on this near side as Jamie Miley clears it upfield, hooked back the way it came by Aldershot as he drops out to the left hand side for Jack Barham, who's going to try his luck down the side of the pitch with a bit more grass on it. Now Jones calling for it on this near side, and he receives it, drifts infield past Reyes Cleary. Miley comes out to close him down. Hargreaves in possession now for the shots as the ball wriggles through the feet of Luca Woodhouse, and now Pools on the halfway line with Campbell. Tries to find a run of Charman, and he does, lays it into his path beautifully. Picked up by Charman, low into the front post and across the 6-yard box, but out of play for a goal kick. But again, the Pools counter is on, Robbie, and it looks dangerous every time.
Yeah, and it was a good ball, actually. You just wanted someone to gamble at the back post. Charman started well. Again, I prefer him in that more advanced role. He has a real habit of making something out of nothing, and although his end product isn't always perfect, he always tries to deliver a ball or take a shot, and he always causes problems. I think from an Aldershot point of view, when you have that 3-5-2, if you like, as we've seen from a Pools perspective, wing-backs or wingers are playing in unfamiliar roles, and there is space between the outside centre halves and the wing-backs, and that's what Pools are exploiting by playing relatively narrow. That's what they're managing to exploit so far this afternoon.
The voice of Robbie Stelling, our Pools summariser this afternoon on BBC Radio T Sport, also tapping away vigorously on his keyboard for the Hartlepool Mail.
Still trying to sort my night out, Rob.
Reyes Cleary curls one into the penalty area that's easily collected by Mark Dewhurst. You're rearranging all your VIP appearances.
Yeah, exactly. Nightmare. I've got to work now. Can you believe it?
As Tottenham have gone 2-0 up at Ipswich. Brennan Johnson with a brace there, and it's Southampton 0, Brighton 1. João Pedro, if you've got him in your fantasy football.
Took him out this week, Rob. Can you believe that? That's a sickener, isn't it?
Aston Villa against Chelsea is a 5:30 kickoff. Be listening to that in the car on the way home. The early kickoff saw Everton 2, Manchester United 2 in a game shrouded in VAR and penalty controversies, as Pools clear the latest Aldershot attack into touch as we approach the half-hour mark. Aldershot 0, Pools 1. A Tyler Frost own goal. Some members of the media pack here this afternoon attributing the goal to Gary Medine. I'm sure Medine will want to claim it, but a wasteful ball over the top that Adam Smith will come out and gather relatively safely.
And in the grand scheme of things on that goal, Rob, of course Medine will want the goal, Tyler Frost probably won't, but from a Pools fan's point of view, it's just pleasing to see their side take the lead, because it was a really difficult week last week, wasn't it? And things have started to feel really flat, but really pleasing so far today.
Charman on the 18-yard line tries to whip a low ball with pace into the 6-yard box, but it comes back out. So Pools recycle and rework with Jamie Miley, but the ball out for a throw-in by the Aldershot corner flag over on the far side. So Aldershot, a team that finished 8th last season, 4 places and 9 points ahead of Pools. And to see them 4th from bottom in the relegation zone shows you just how unforgiving this National League can be, as Reyes Cleary does really well to nutmeg his man, then lift to cross up to the back post, but it's touched away from the head of Gary Medine by goalkeeper Mark Dewhurst, who came out, leapt high, was brave as well, touched it behind for a corner. But that was another chance for Hartlepool United.
Yeah, it was, and Pools are looking very threatening in the final third. Aldershot, of course, are looking threatening as well. And like Marcus Dewhurst, I think he's a good goalkeeper. He had a good season at Wealdstone. He's one I thought actually maybe Pools might look at this summer, but that was really good goalkeeping, exactly what you want. Command your area, and if you can't catch it, make sure you get it clear.
So Pools' first corner of the game. Jack Robinson is the man to deliver, left-footed, in swinger. There's a header from Charman that just glances wide of the mark. Gavin Skelton and Anthony Limbrick almost beautifully choreographed between the pair of them there, as they both jump up and slap their thighs with their hands in frustration. They know that was a chance, they know it was close, but Charman's header was wide of the mark. It remains Aldershot 0, Pools 1. Ball over the top that Adam Smith comes a long way out to complete the clearance, and Robbie Stelling will have to do his best centre-back Tom Parks impression there, as he almost has to duck out the way of that ball.
I've got the look of a centre-half as well, don't I, Rob? I think everyone would agree.
Grizzled.
Yeah, exactly right. Great goalkeeping again from Smith, really decisive. Great chance for Luke Charman. I think he'll think he had to score, but Jack Robinson's delivery's been on the money so far today.
It has, and it's only Jack Robinson's third start of the season. You'll remember he joined from Carlisle, mutual agreement to end the contract there, and he arrived at Hartlepool United with a contract until the end of the campaign. Said he just wants to play some football. He's got his first start this evening. There's Aldershot on the attack with a low, tame effort that skips up off the turf and out for a goal kick. But he certainly offered something in the first half an hour, Jack Robinson. His deliveries into the box have been good. He's looked solid defensively as well when needed.
He's done well so far. I agree, offered something at both ends, and as you say, delivery has been really, really good, and David Ferguson generally has really good delivery, but other than that, in the Pool side, you think they don't always have the most threatening set-piece takers, so that's a positive to see that there's someone else to give them another option there.
As Pools win possession wide on the right-hand side with Sharon. It comes all the way through to the back post, but hooked away into touch for another Pools corner, and that needed to be done from Aldershot because Reyes Cleary was in space at the back post and lurking.
It was uncertain defending though, wasn't it? Didn't really look like anyone wanted to take control of that situation. Nathan Sharon, although he often seems like the more defensive option at right back, he does get forward well, and his delivery is pretty good. He's a real threat from that right flank as well.
So the delivery this time is from the near side, so Jamie Miley's right foot is the instrument. Pools with Parks, Medine, Charman, all at the back post. It goes towards Waterfall, gets his head on it, falls towards Medine, throws himself at the ball, doesn't win it, brings down his man, and the ball stops for a goal kick. Just watching Anthony Limbrick and Gavin Skelton, we have a good view of them here because we're just over their right shoulder. So as Pools attack to the goal over to our left hand side, you get a good view of Limbrick and Gavin Skelton in the dugout. Limbrick pacing around, living and breathing every passage of players. Reyes Cleary almost picks the pocket there of Will Armitage, and Marcus Dewhurst comes out to bail out his centre-back as Miley and Cameron Hargreaves collide in midfield, and Hargreaves comes off the worst for that as he gets Miley's shin across his midriff. Takes a big lungful of air.
That's good though, Miley. He's not the most physically imposing, but it's important, especially at this level, that he's able to put himself about, make himself combative, competitive, and he certainly did that there.
Miley beaten to the ball, and that exchange by Hargreaves. Pools defending on the edge of their own box. Up it goes to Riaz Cleary, and he's just thrown to the turf there and feels a little whack on the back of his head. So with it being a head injury, the referee Ross Martin will stop play, and he's going to need some treatment, is Cleary. But he seems to be holding the back of his head, which is a concern.
He looks sore, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Looks really sore. They can be really nasty, those, can't they? Obviously no intent, but when you've got a head injury, it can be very painful. Let's hope he's all right. He has got his head up, which is good, because again, he's had a really good start to the game. Will Armitage in particular doesn't look comfortable dealing with him. He's a real nuisance, and he's obviously a real threat in terms of his pace, his power, his driving runs, and Pools will certainly not want to lose him.
So break in play. Thank you to Chloe, who's been in touch. She says, having seen the pitch, my husband said he hopes they're not going to be building sandcastles at half-time.
I know. Well, you just hope that it doesn't start raining, Rob. If the scoreline stays like this, it would just be Pool's luck, wouldn't it, that the game gets called off with 2 minutes to go, or something like that, because the conditions are... Oh, I know. The conditions are not the best, are they? But both sides have adapted about as well as could be expected, I would suggest. Obviously, Tom Park's one nervous touch. We've seen a couple of nervous moments from Aldershot as well. Both Luke Waterfall and Parks have got caught underneath balls a couple of times. But, you know, two teams giving as good as they got. A proper National League meeting, I would suggest.
And Cleary has received some treatment and is getting ready to come back onto the pitch, but having gone off, he'll have to wait the regulated 30 seconds. Danny O'Connor, the physio, on the touchline on this near side, just making sure that Cleary is ready to get back onto the field of play when allowed. Dougie's been in touch. He says, I was really hoping it would be 4-3-3 this afternoon. It is very much a 4-2-3-1 this afternoon, with Medina as the sole striker, Campbell, Charman and Cleary behind him. There's Aldershot in possession and Cleary back on, without the headband this time though. There's Jones infield for Aldershot. Hargreaves on the halfway line, forced back to his centre back, and then the ball over the top looking for Barrett and Barron, but Parks is able to complete the clearance, and Luke Jenkins flicks his header backwards to his goalkeeper Dewhurst. So Miley looks to have recovered from that knock early on, whereas Cleary looks to be moving better. But the changes so far, Robbie, the 5 changes, the change in formation as well, what would be your assessment at this stage, 38 minutes in?
Yes, so far so good. There's not a massive amount in the game, is there? But I think Robinson's done well. I think the wingers have benefited from being higher up the pitch as well. I think Pools look better when they just have the one central striker. It allows them to get more out of their other attacking players. So far so good, Rob.
Hargreaves in possession for Aldershot, looking over the top for Josh Barrett, who receives it now at the byline. Hooks a deep cross to the edge of the area. Frost, low cross that's cleared by Waterfall out to the left hand side. Now Woodhouse, and a low ball into the box once again that Waterfall has to head behind. Corner to Aldershot, and the home side just starting to be emboldened.
Yeah, and you can hear the response from the home fans. That's the first time we've really heard them get up. Neither of these two teams has the most watertight defensive record this season, although Pools have been significantly improved on last season. Aldershot conceding a lot of goals, but they also score plenty, Rob, so Pools will have to be mindful of that.
So corner to Aldershot as they look to get back into this game. It goes short. Out to the left-hand side, and left-footed cross to the back post, headed away by Waterfall. Drops on the edge of the area as Aldershot keep the move flowing with Jones. Now to Woodhouse. His cross doesn't beat the shins of Tom Parks. Woodhouse, this time to the edge of the area. Barrett tries to get it on his right foot for the shot, dinks one, and it's plucked out of the air by Adam Smith as he falls onto the turf to keep tight hold of that one. With 5 minutes to go till half-time, Aldershot 0, Hartlepool United 1.
And it was a great bit of defending from Luke Waterfall at the back post, wasn't it? Aldershot are not the most physically imposing side, especially when you see teams play 3 at the back. You expect them to be physically dominant, but Pools are far bigger in that regard, and they've looked pretty comfortable at set pieces so far, but it was a really important defensive intervention at the back post from Luke Waterfall there.
As Riaz Cleary has bumped into the back of his man and given away a free kick on the edge of the Aldershot penalty area. Over to our left, some scores in the Premier League to tell you about. Bournemouth 0, Wolves 1. As Bournemouth have had a man sent off. Mateus Cunha with the goal for Wolves. It's Fulham 0, Crystal Palace 1. Ipswich have a goal back. Amari Hutchinson. So Ipswich 1, Tottenham 2. Cue the nervousness around Spurs as Aldershot on the attack. Cross to the back post from Jones and headed wide of the mark by Jack Barham. It was just too close to him. He couldn't adjust in time. It arrived with some pace on it, and he flicks his header wide of the mark, and it remains Aldershot 0, Pools 1.
And the one thing Aldershot do well is they get lots of bodies forward. They do attack in significant numbers, and that's obviously a challenge for Pools, who again are adjusting to a new shape here this afternoon. So far they've just about dealt with it well enough. Josh Barrett, you can see he's a player with an eye for a pass. Ryan Jones, someone who I know from when he played at Hungerford Town as well. He's a good technical player, so they will fancy their chances of unlocking the Pools backline at some stage this afternoon.
In the Championship, still West Brom 1, Oxford 0, Swansea 1, Blackburn 0, Norwich 1, Stoke 0, Coventry 2, Preston 0 is the latest score. Here, Aldershot 0, Hartlepool United 1. An own goal from Tyler Frost, or a strike from Gary Medine. It is still, I can hear it in the background being discussed by the PA announcers away to our right hand side as to who exactly got the final touch. We're not privy to any replays or such here, but Pools on the attack. Jack Hunter to Campbell, edge of the box, lays it to Charman, tries to find a way through, left-footed shot at the front post, but it's wide, and it remains Aldershot 0, Pools 1.
Just wasn't the best ball into him, was it, from Adam Campbell initially? Took probably one too many touches for my liking. Then Charman made the best of a bad situation, really, because it was an underhit pass to him. But Charman's been one of the biggest threats so far today.
As Wealdstone have equalised against Ebbsfleet, so it's one apiece there. As Jamie Miley tries to lift the ball over the top of the Aldershot defence, but there isn't a sky blue shirt in that vicinity, so the red and blue of Aldershot have it back inside their own half on this near side. Searching downfield, Parks heads away. Jones now gives it away, and Gary Medine dropped right deep inside his own half to hold that up. Gives it to Jack Robinson, who again punts the ball long. Miley wins the header. Hunter helps it on its way, but then Aldershot pick up the loose ball, and Luke Jenkins tries to find a through ball, but Adam Smith can complete the clearance deep into the Aldershot half away to our left, and the game just getting a little bit scrappy now, Robbie.
Yeah, it's not been the best 10 minutes for Pools, in truth. Feels like they've lost a little bit of control. We haven't seen much of the midfield in the last 5 or 10 minutes. Inevitably it's going to be a game where both sides favour going on, but we just haven't seen quite enough from Pools in these last few minutes.
A minute of the 45 left to play, with Pools leading by a goal to nil, but Aldershot are pushing for an equaliser, as they are now. Out on the left hand side, Frost out to the touchline, back infield, for Hargreaves through the centre of the pitch to Woodhouse, and now Jones controls it as the ball moves from left to right. Now back in field with Barrett. Aldershot with plenty of bodies forward, but Pools, everybody back behind the ball, and Luke Charman's won it midway inside his own half. He's got Adam Campbell herring away to the right hand side, and the through ball just slowed again in the turf, and it adjusted its trajectory, and that meant that Aldershot were able to intercept and build their own attack. Aldershot down the left hand side, edge of the Pools penalty area. Frost goes past Sherron, low into the 6-yard box, stabbed away by Parks, helped on by Charman. Campbell wanted it to feet, and instead it went long. So Aldershot have it back. Ollie Scott down the left, attacking the Pools goal once more. Deep cross that Smith needs to come for, and he does. He gathers that into his gut and then collapses on the turf for safekeeping. Into stoppage time at the end of the first half. 2 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the first half, with Pools a single goal advantage. Can see some Poolies over on the far side taking that as their indication to go and get some half-time refreshments. We're very lucky that we've got Paul Freeman's 50th birthday cake to tuck into at half-time. Looking forward to that. And all tastes all the better with Pools leading by a goal to nil. But Aldershot trying to change that. Frost tries to cut the ball back, but Jack Hunter was in the way, and it rebounds for Aldershot's third corner of the first half.
Just like to see one of those two midfielders, Jack Hunter or Jamie Manley, really take this game by the scruff of the neck, because Aldershot, actually you feel as though half-time will not necessarily come as at a good time for the hosts, because they're getting really on top at the minute.
The one thing about Josh Barrett is that he does put a good cross in, and he does so now. Curling, headed away by Parks, comes out to this near side. They'll shove in the back from Waterfall on Hargreaves. That was very cute, and
it was right underneath the linesman's nose, that, mind you, wasn't it?
Very experienced from Waterfall. Could see his man herring towards the ball, and just a little nudge in the back which took his momentum beyond the ball, and sees Pools have a throw-in just up from their own corner flag. The home fans getting a little bit frustrated, as you might hear in the background, and one in particular who is venting his frustration. There are fans turning and taking issue with that said fan. I'd say that it's not a wholly accepted opinion of the Aldershot fan, who seems all on his own in his opinion.
He's doubling down with it, mind you, Rob, isn't he?
He's certainly not shy of voicing it, is he?
I know, my dad's at the game, and as soon as I heard that, I thought, it must be him. But thankfully it was an Aldershot fan this time.
Yes, this time. There's still time yet though, Robbie.
There certainly is.
That's for sure. So at the break, it's Aldershot 0, it's Hartlepool United 1. It was a game that burst into life after just 40 seconds when, straight from the kickoff, Pools give it to Tom Parks. The ball bobbled in front of him. He took a heavy touch. That allowed Jack Barham to pick up possession, work his way out and through the Pools defence, 1v1 with the goalkeeper. The shot at the angle, well saved by Adam Smith, but really for Jack Barham, he should have done better with the opportunity that he was presented with. Pools then managed to make the breakthrough on the 20-minute mark. Aldershot pressing, but Pools with their counter, which has been dangerous in that first half, sweeping from right to left. Luke Charman into play with Gary Medine, and 1-2 back again, and Medine a little reverse pass round the corner into Charman, who chopped it back across the 18-yard line. Gary Medine was there, as was Tyler Frost. One of them got the final touch that put it past Marcus Dewhurst in the Aldershot goal to give Pools the lead. Jack Barham was in again on 26 minutes when a header from Tom Parks back towards his own goalkeeper was slightly short. That allowed Barham in. He tried to lift the ball over the top of the Pool's keeper, but credit to Adam Smith yet again, who leapt high, did the old jumping jack to deny him at close range. And Aldershot growing in confidence throughout the first half, but Pools with a good corner from Jack Robinson that was swung in onto the head of Luke Charman and just saw his header glance wide of Marcus Dewhurst's right hand post. You'd say Aldershot ended the first half is the team in the ascendancy, but at the break, Robbie, it is Hartlepool United who have the statistic which matters most, and that is the 1-0 advantage.
Yeah, exactly that. I thought Pools started the game well, apart from the first 10 seconds, of course. They started the game pretty well, as you say. Couple of chances for both sides. I think Anthony Limbrick and Gavin Skelton were fairly disbelieving at how Luke Charman had managed to turn his header from Jack Robinson's corner wide, but Charman's been a real plus point from Pools. He's caused Aldershot all sorts of problems, and I don't think that the Shots backline look at all comfortable with the Pools front three of Reyes Cleary, Gary Medine and Luke Charman. Adam Campbell's made some threatening runs from that deeper role as well, but of course on the other side of the coin, I don't think Pools have looked necessarily particularly comfortable dealing with Aldershot, particularly in the final 20 minutes. They get bodies forward really well. They've got some good technical players in Ryan Jones, Josh Barrett, Jack Barham. What they don't necessarily have is a focal point. Clearly they play a certain way. They try and attack with pace. They try and play right on the shoulder. Tom Parks and Luke Waterfall have dealt generally well with that, barring one or two really hair-raising moments. Of course, if it wasn't for a couple of strong saves from Adam Smith, it could be an entirely different scoreline. Looking at the conditions, looking at the way the game is going, looking at Aldershot's goal-scoring record, you would think that it will be difficult for Pools to keep a clean sheet. Not saying it's going to be impossible, but it will be difficult. You would like to see Pools so often this season and previously as well. They've been too happy to sit on a one-goal lead. I think it's really important they don't make the same mistake this afternoon. It's going to be difficult to preserve that clean sheet, I would imagine. I'd like to see Pools try and put the game to bed, because there are opportunities for them there. As I say, I don't think Aldershot look particularly comfortable at the back. A decent start for Pools, an even game, really a tale of 3 or 4 chances. Adam Smith has done the business for Pools, and at the other end, the visitors have been more clinical.
So at the break, Aldershot 0, Hartlepool United 1. Harry.
Robbie, thank you very much for your commentary of that first half. We'll be back over to the recreation ground shortly for second half commentary, and hopefully Pools can hang on to that slender lead they have at the break. Right, I'll bring you the halftime scores from around the grounds next.
Scott Making on BBC Radio Tees.
Now this is nice. Recently, I had local singer-songwriter Jamie Graham, and he was telling us all about when he first played his music to his parents.
I wrote this song in my bedroom really quietly and secretly, and I loved the song that I'd wrote that much that I went down and I was just like, Dad, just listen to this a sec. Played him a recorded version first, did like a rubbish little recording, and he was like, this is great, who's that?
No.
And I said, oh yeah, I said, oh, no, because he'd never heard me sing.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, it's me. And the second he said it was great, I was like, okay, I've got a license here to give this a real go.
Scott Making.
Weekday afternoons from 2
on BBC Radio Tees. Proud to follow Hartlepool United.
BBC Radio Tees
Sport.
Yes, at the break in Hampshire, Hartlepool United lead Aldershot by 1-0, thanks to a strange own goal from Tyler Frost.
Campbell finds Charman crossing the halfway line, drifting infield. His pass towards Medine is slowed up in the turf, but Medine finds Charman. Back to Medine!
Oh!
And Medine scores! He hit it first time. It was low and it scrambled across the turf. Medine is the man who celebrates in sky blue. Whether it took a final touch off an Aldershot shirt remains to be seen, but Pools take the lead within 20 minutes, and that is just the start they needed.
Yes, it absolutely did take a touch off an Aldershot player. Marvellous own goal, an own goal from outside the box, which you very, very rarely see. Pools will not care how it came. They are ahead at the break. Elsewhere in the National League, it's Altrincham 1, AFC Fylde 2, Boston United 0, Eastleigh 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 1, Oldham 0, Forest Green 0, Woking 0, Maidenhead 0, Yeovil 1, Rochdale 0, Barnet 2, Solihull Moors 0, Gateshead 1, Sutton United 0, Braintree 0, Tamworth 1, Southend 0, Wealdstone 1, Ebbsfleet 2. It's York City 1, FC Halifax Town 2. In the Premier League, in the early kick-off, full-time score, Everton 2, Manchester United 2, Arsenal 0, West Ham United 1. There's a half-time score. Bournemouth 0, Wolves 1. Bournemouth down to 10 men in that game. Fulham 0, Crystal Palace 1, Ipswich 1, Tottenham Hotspur 2, Southampton 0, Brighton 1. And the late kick-off at 5:30 in the Premier League sees Aston Villa take on Chelsea at Villa Park. Into the Championship, there was 3 early kick-offs. It finished Derby 0, Millwall 1, Plymouth 1, Cardiff 1, and Sunderland 0, Hull City 1. In the 3 o'clock kick-offs, half-time, Coventry 2, Preston 0, Norwich 1, Stoke 1, Portsmouth 0, QPR 0, Swansea 2, Blackburn Rovers 0, and West Bromwich Albion 1, Oxford United 0. And in the National League North, we're keeping a keen eye on 2 of our games. We'll start with Darlington at Blackwell Meadows. They're taking on Kings Lynn Town. It's 10th versus 4th. They lead by a goal to 0. Here's Ray Simpson.
They took the lead after 5 minutes. A left wing cross by Caden Kelly was cleared by the Lennox defence as far as Callum Griffiths, who struck a cracking right foot shot from 30 yards into the bottom corner of the net for his second goal of the season. Kings Lynn had a penalty shout turned down on 16 minutes when Johnny Margetts, their top scorer, went down when he was challenged by Scott Barrow in the area, but the referee waved play on. Quakers created a half chance for a second on 31 minutes when Ben Headley played the ball inside for Caden Kelly to hit a first time shot from 25 yards that went a couple of yards wide. On 32 minutes, Kings Lynn won a free kick on their right, but Quakers defended it well. Will Hatfield played the ball out to the right, but Cedric Main to run onto, then control and cross into the middle, where Azim Bakri had a header saved by Jones. Quakers had another chance just on half-time. Main's strength and pace took him past 2 defenders into the box, where his shot was blocked by the advancing keeper. Then Bakri, who was looked quite impressive in this first half, picked the ball up on the left, beat 2 men as he worked his way into the penalty area, but his shot was charged down. Half-time, it's Darlington 1, Kings Lynn 0.
Looking good for the Quakers and also looking good for Spennymoor Town. They're leading Kidderminster by a goal to 0 at Agborough.
BBC Radio Tees Sports.
Yes, looking good for our local sides. We have a hat-trick of wins so far on the cards. Hartlepool United leading by a goal to 0, Darlington leading by a goal to 0, and Spennymoor Town also winning 1-0. We'll be back over to the recreation ground for second half commentary on Aldershot versus Pools shortly, but it is time to chat rugby. And in the Six Nations, England face Scotland in the Calcutta match at Twickenham later. They're looking to follow up their victory over France with the win against Gregor Townsend's team. The England head coach Steve Borthwick has been chatting to the former England wing Chris Ashton and the BBC's Rugby Union correspondent Chris Jones.
Tell us how the last 10 days has been and how different it has been with the big win under your belt as opposed to a narrow defeat.
Sometimes it feels not particularly fashionable to talk about, but we're really consistent in our approach. We have been consistent and continue to be consistent in growing and developing the team, and that's the nature it's been. We've talked before about what we're aiming to do, and I think now's the right time where we're trying to build our attack. And what really pleased me about that game 10 days ago or so is the nature of how the players continue to be brave with the ball, aggressive with the ball, wanting to play fast, wanting to score tries. And that's the challenge we talked about before the game. And they went out and did it. And what a reaction from our supporters as well. A jam-packed full Allianz Stadium. It was a brilliant atmosphere.
But is that the hardest thing about being a coach? Because the 79 minutes and 30-odd seconds is exactly the same whether Elliott goes under the post or not. But everything about the post-match, everything about the vibe in camp, the players mingling with their families, the smiles on the faces, the changing room atmosphere, the pressure that just drops around the team externally, maybe not internally. Everything changes off that one move. And that's just the nature of it. The margins are so fine. So do you almost have to sort of try and ride that wave? Or do you have to say to the players, okay, let's ignore the last 30 seconds and concentrate on the rest of the game and see where we can improve? Is that the messaging?
Post-game, I was asked a question, and it might be yourself. Excuse me if it was you. Know, I'm not remembering it and not giving you the credit for it. But I was asked, "Are you? You must be proud of the players." And I thought about it, and then shortly after that, I actually addressed the players in the change rooms as we always would. Talk a very short little debrief in the change rooms post game, and I said this to them. I said I'd been asked this question, and I said to them, I said, I'm really, really happy for you and happy for the supporters that we got the win. Really happy for you. But I'm always proud of you. Like, I'm not proud of you today suddenly because you managed to, we won. I'm proud of you because every week, every day, you work exceptionally hard to improve and be better. And that's what this group of players does. I think we've got a really talented group of young rugby players that are going to build into being a very, very good rugby team. Now, over that time, there are bits you'd do differently. There are mistakes you made. Actually, we've both been there, haven't we, as players? But asking them to go out and play in a manner that suits their strengths, which I think is being aggressive with the ball, and that's what they did.
Having a habit of winning is obviously way better to have behind you, right? So how important is it for the players just to get another one under the belt this week?
Yeah, well, I think you've worn the England shirt so many times yourself and scored so many tries in it that we are all desperate to win every game we go into, and I think it is really important, as you acknowledge, to keep building and keep building. Now, what I'll say, because going back to with what you asked me, was the team has consistently put itself in positions to win games, which tells me this young team is doing lots of things very, very well. Now, what we need to do this weekend against a strong Scotland team is get into that position to win again. And that means starting the game with an intensity and pace that we know Test rugby demands.
So when it comes to Scotland, have you looked at the last few years explicitly and gone to the players, 4 in a row, this is why, and this is why this Saturday needs to be a different story? Do you have to almost embrace what's happened in Calcutta Cup recently?
As part of preparation in any game, I always, I did when I was at Leicester, I do now with England, is I always look back at the most recent games we have played against the relevant opponent. That's part, I think every coach does that. I think what we've also got to acknowledge is that this team's a very different team to the one that played 12 months ago against Scotland, or 24 months ago. Joe Marler, he was playing in that game, amongst many others. It's different. So you've got to be very conscious of drawing parallels with things where players weren't involved, and we've changed. I think they've changed, and our focus is very much upon this Saturday, as every England supporter would expect my focus to be.
Yeah, and when it comes to you got that win against France, priceless. A loss, you're out the title race, Steve. A win, you're banging it again with 2 home games at Twickenham to come, and then Wales on the final day. How determined are you as a group to capitalise on that France win? And the only way I imagine to capitalise on that France win is to win again and again and again and really finish the championship on a high.
Because you'd expect me to be preparing this team to be focused solely upon the game this weekend, as every England supporter would want, and to go into the game this weekend prepared and with the belief that we're going to get the result and work very, very hard for it, but get the result we all want. We're not looking at what's been in the past. We're not looking at what's gone on, what potentially could happen this weekend. That's what you've got to put the focus on. And I think, and I mentioned the supporters deliberately because I thought, I really believe they have been absolutely magnificent for this team over the last period of time, and I can't wait for Saturday. I think the atmosphere is going to be phenomenal, and it's going to be a great test match. I think you've got 2 very good teams, and I think it's going to be another brilliant test match here.
And that game gets underway in around 40 minutes' time. Right, it's time to head back over to the recreation ground for second half commentary on Aldershot versus Pools with Rob Law and Robbie Stelling.
Thank you, Harry. We are 20 seconds into the start of this second half. No changes for either side, so as they were. Pools with Adam Smith in goal, back 4 Nathan Sherron, Tom Parks, captain Luke Waterfall and Jack Robinson. Jack Hunter and Jamie Miley, 2 defensive midfielders with Luke Charman, Adam Campbell and Riaz Cleary supporting Gary Medine up front. No changes for Aldershot either, so Marcus Dewhurst in goal, a back 3 of Will Armitage, Luca Woodhouse and Luke Jenkins, wing backs of Aaron Jones and Oliver Scott, Tyler Frost, who scored the own goal in the first half to put Pools into the lead, alongside Cameron Hargreaves in the centre of midfield, Ryan Jones playing just behind the front 2 of Josh Barrett and Jack Barham, as Gary Medine is chopped down with a sliding challenge, and Frost can pull his team up the pitch over the halfway line, a ball forward that is cut out by Waterfall, and a throw-in quickly taken. Deep cross from Jones, goes all the way through to the far side, and the referee is going to pull play back here, and it's a yellow card. Is that a yellow card to Luke Waterfall or Nathan Sherrin?
I think it might have been Waterfall, but I'm reluctant to commit, Rob, to be honest.
Time will tell. Time will tell. It was a very swiftly delivered yellow card.
They do attack with pace, though, don't they? They break well. And you do feel as though Pools are just lacking a little bit of control, particularly in the middle third of the pitch. Obviously playing with just 2 central midfielders this afternoon. They've got to get a grip on the game, I think, somehow.
So free kick, standing over it is Ryan Jones. Free kick delivered to the back post, all the way through to Sherrin, who completes the clearance. Goes long for Riaz Cleary and wins a throw-in. Does Cleary midway inside the Aldershot half. So Pools now attacking from left to right. The floodlights just flickering into power above us, beaming down onto the pitch. We still have the patches of clear blue sky above us, the odd dark cloud on the horizon, the sun setting away to our right hand side in Hampshire this afternoon. Pools in the all sky blue away kit against the predominantly red outfit of Aldershot, with the blue stripes down the centre of the shirt and the white names and numbers on the back. A very flat start to the second half as the latest train chugs past over on the far side. Riaz Cleary trying to spark Pools into life at the start of this second half. His first shot is blocked. It rebounds out to the feet of Cleary once more and just loses his footing slightly. And Aldershot clear up to the halfway line. Waterfall does really well to make something of that. Charman is going to win it by the corner flag over on the far side. Charman low towards Campbell. It might bobble his way. The second attempt is cleared. Up towards Miley. Gets underneath it and heads it goalwards. Then hooked clear and deep into the Pools half of play towards Adam Smith, who was being very quickly closed down by Jack Barham. Barham with 9 goals so far this season. His strike partner in Josh Barrett, 11 for the campaign. 4 in his last 5 has Barrett.
Looks like he's had a bit of Paul Freeman's cake as well, doesn't he, actually?
I'm glad you said that.
It's very unkind of me. It's very unkind of me, and I've only said it because he's on the opposite side of the pitch to us right now.
I like how you wait till the second half to say that. I have to be honest though, I would tend to agree, certainly testing the fabric of the shirt.
He's always been built like that though, hasn't he? And so it's perhaps testament to his technical qualities that he's not the most athletic, but he's had a really successful career.
I'll just take that spade off you, Robbie Stout, from the Hartlepool.
Turn my mic off, please.
You're on timeout as Tom Parks wins possession. Waterfall keeps it moving. Now Miley in the centre circle, closely watched by Ryan Jones, and pulls back their own goalkeeper Smith. Fires this one into the opposition half, but aimless really, and it trickles through from goalkeeper to goalkeeper. Keep you right up to date with scores up and down the country in this second half. Aldershot 0, Pools 1 as things stand. And York, who arrive at Hartlepool next Saturday, trailing 2-1. Luke Charman finds Gary Medine, edge of the area, looks to put it on a plate for Cleary, but his shot is saved by Dewhurst. Medine laid the ball into the path of Cleary, who was arriving free and unmarked. He still had to beat the goalkeeper, and Dewhurst made himself big and stopped the shot. Poole still on the attack. Cleary again, low in towards Medine, and it's cleared by Jenkins out into touch for a Poole's throw-in.
He looked certain to score, didn't he? Again, you've got to give huge credit to the goalkeeper Marcus Dewhurst. Adam Smith made a couple of similar saves in the first half. Great work from Luke Charman again. I think this is his sort of game when it's a battle, when things are difficult, combative, competitive. He's really thriving in these very challenging conditions. A perfect ball, inch perfect from Gary Medine. Cleary looked destined to score, but it's a great save.
Cleary, another opportunity as he tries to turn his man, but the shot is blocked. Sharon spins the ball out to the left hand side, kept in by Robinson. Now Hunter.
Start creating chances, but defensively
Pool's looking dangerous. Forward ball towards Medine, cut out and cleared by Will Armitage, but straight to Jamie Miley, who then puts the ball out of play for a goal kick. So 52 minutes on the clock. Aldershot 0, Pools 1, but Riaz Cleary really should have made it 2.
And that's probably the one thing. Look, he's probably been the best player at Pools since he arrived on loan from West Brom. That's the one thing. He's only got 1 goal. He should have 3 or 4. And to take himself to the next level, he will need to become more clinical. Of course, that's one of those things that you'll learn. He's playing with someone like Gary Medine this afternoon. That's going to be such a valuable experience from him. Well, you have to credit the goalkeeper. I think, again, it's a case of either side of him. You don't give him the chance to make the save. And Pools should be 2 ahead.
Well, one team that is 2-0 ahead in the National League North, Kidderminster 0, Spennymoor 2. Could be a big afternoon for the Moors in the National League North as they look to push and continue their playoff hunt. Could be a big result, could be a big second goal for Graham Lee's side. Elsewhere, Barnet have gone 3-0 up against Rochdale. Dom Telford with the latest goal there. And our old favourite has scored this afternoon. Dagenham and Redbridge 1, Oldham 1, Mike Fondup.
What a season he's having.
Yes, what a character. The only man I've ever seen celebrate goals that he scored in the warm-up. Because he never scored for Hartlepool.
I think 15 goals this season now, or something like that, Robbie. He really is having a good season, isn't he?
He is. As much as we jest, he certainly found his form when he left Hartlepool United.
Still not quite a Messi Ronaldo hybrid though, is he? I don't think.
Still not, no. I couldn't believe that when he said that. Interviewed him when he first arrived and said, what can fans expect? He says, I like to model my game on Messi and Ronaldo. Oh, just those two, fair to say, Pools didn't really see any of that sparkle, that magic that also graced the boots of said greats Ronaldo and Messi, although some would say some of his finishing was certainly very messy. There's the ball out of play for a goal kick that Adam Smith will take as the skies above us just darken, the light dims somewhat, so the floodlights above us becoming more prominent as Smith goes up the pitch, but it's short of any Pools target, so Will Armitage can punt it forward. Now an opportunity for Aldershot. Oh, it might still fall for Jones inside the area. Aldershot are claiming there was a handball in there, and it was Jack Barham who was at the angle, tried to cut it back. I think it was Nathan Sherron sliding in, and as he did so, the ball did hit his arm, but it was more ball to arm than arm to ball, you would suggest. It was in an unnatural position because it was up and out, wasn't it, away from his body.
I can see why Aldershot are frustrated,
yes, Rob. I would agree. Corner, swung in by Aldershot, headed away by Gary Medine. Campbell tries to flick it on into the path of Cleary, doesn't quite come off. Now back to Hargreaves. Aldershot are feeling aggrieved. Long goes the ball, controlled on the chest by Barrett, but runs it out of play. And it's a goal kick, and Anthony Limbrick on 55 minutes has seen enough. He's readying. I think I can see 2 changes down there through the perspex glass of the dugout. Lenny Lawrence is in attendance. Carl Dickinson, who actually bumped into Carl Dickinson as I stopped off at Tromwell Services. Aldershot making a change as well. There is a story here, I promise. As off goes number 11, Ryan Jones. And he is replaced by Maxwell Mullins. And another change. Is a Pools change that sees Jack Robinson off and David Ferguson on. So David Ferguson comes on, off goes Jack Robinson, and a second change. It's going to see Joe Gray enter the pitch as Riaz Cleary goes off. I'm surprised to see Cleary go off.
Yeah, a little bit. I think in recent games he's been almost impossible to take off. He probably hasn't had his most influential afternoon. Joe Gray is obviously a hugely talented player as well. Massively welcome to have him back. Maybe you don't want to take Luke Charman off this afternoon because he's having a particularly good game. Campbell's been influential in his own way, but might have been the choice of some Pools fans. But another bold call from Anthony Limbrick.
There's a ball out for a throw-in. So I stopped off at Tromwell Services, parked up in the car park, just took the keys out of the ignition and glanced up out the windshield, and parked directly opposite me, sat in his car, staring out of his windshield, was Carl Dickinson. It was that moment of, oh, it's you. What are you doing here? And had a little chat about the game, potentially at that point being postponed, but he'd just been in to buy his protein bars.
Of course he
Carl
had.
Dickinson. He
didn't have his bright red boots on, does he? he seems to live in those, Rob.
He does, yes, and he'll consistently tell you that he could still play to this day. And who would doubt him? Medine flicks the ball into the path of Charman, doesn't quite fall for him. David Ferguson gets underneath this one to launch it long, headed out by Aldershot for a Pools throw. Excited to see what Joe Gray can do, playing in a forward line with Gary Medine, Adam Campbell and Luke Charman. We all know of Gray's quality. 6 goals so far this season. Sherrin does well to find Campbell. Oh, Campbell beautifully over the top and wanted Sherrin to continue his run, but Sherrin was hesitant somewhat. As Pools have another throw-in. And the home fan is voicing his frustrations, the same person who did at half-time. Worth pointing out that it very much does seem a lone voice. There is many in the stand in front of us who are looking with furrowed brows over to see who is shouting. As Aldershot attack, wide on the left-hand side. Barrett tries to drop the shoulder, gets past Miley, it's spilled by Smith, it rebounds into the net, and Aldershot have an equaliser, and of all the people to score, it's Maxwell Mullins, and it's the change that was being berated from the stands just moments ago, but Mullins with his first touch is to turn it into the back of the net, and Aldershot level on the hour mark. Aldershot 1, Pools 1.
Disappointing for Pools, but I don't think they can have too many complaints given the pattern of the game since they went ahead. Obviously not everyone agreed with that change, but it's proved to be a really shrewd substitution from Tommy Witherington. I think the goalkeeper will be disappointed though, Rob.
As Pools try to find their own way straight back, there's infighting in the Aldershot stand here. Meanwhile, on the pitch, that's where our focus is, and Pools need to shake out the cobwebs because Aldershot, their confidence is growing.
We're right in enemy territory here.
We're right in the line of fire.
Remarkably, Rob, we're not the least popular people in the vicinity.
Does this happen every week?
No, that's the first time that's happened.
It's the first time that's happened, apparently. Meanwhile, Hartlepool United on the attack. Gary Medine finds Joe Gray with space to run into. Got 2 Aldershot shirts around him. Tries to cut back in field. Almost finds a pass through to Campbell, but well defended by Aldershot, who complete the clearance. End-to-end stuff now. The game sparked into life after Aldershot grabbed the equaliser. And now Barham edge of the Pools penalty area, onto his right foot. The shot blocked off the back of Jamie Miley and spins up into the air, collected by Jones on the right. Now Hargreaves. Out to Frost. Edging into the Pools penalty area. There's it back to Barrett. Curls one and easily saved by Adam Smith. In the Pools goal away to our left, it remains Aldershot 1, Pools 1, but the home side are purring.
It's only going one way at the minute, this game, Rob. Last 10 minutes in particular, Aldershot have been by far the better side, pretty much since Marcus Dewhurst made that fine save to deny Reyes Cleary. It's all Aldershot. Pools just can't get a foot on the ball. They can't get a grip of the game, and at the minute, it feels like there's only one team that's going to win this game.
The pitch has huge chunks and divots all over it as Joe Gray gives away possession. Eastleigh continue to lead against Boston. Boston 0, Eastleigh 1. Still Altrincham 1, Fylde 2. Fylde having sacked Kevin Phillips in midweek. Altrincham struggling against Fylde this afternoon. Pools struggling at Aldershot. Barrett almost dances his way through the entire Pools defence, but Gary Medine, I beg your pardon, Nathan Sherrin was the man back to block that particular move as Luke Charman is knocked off course momentarily. Tries to get past Ollie Scott, slides into a challenge, does Charman, and then he chops his man down, Cameron Hargreaves. And Charman and Hargreaves exchange some pleasantries on the turf / sandbox, and Charman gives away a free kick.
He lunged in there, didn't he, Rob? I was a little bit worried when you saw him fly into that challenge. Perhaps the referee a little bit more lenient because of the conditions, though.
Pools making a change. Jamie Miley is going off and Nicky Featherstone is coming on to replace him with 62 minutes on the clock. Your thoughts on Jamie Miley this afternoon, Robbie?
Well, a difficult game for him because the conditions are certainly not suited to someone like him. I think he can see what he's trying to do. He does a lot of things well. He wants to get the ball down. He wants to play the right way, and I think in the long term that's going to be really positive. I thought he coped with the physical battle about as well as you could possibly expect, but not due to his fault necessarily. The pattern of the game didn't perhaps suit him. Pools was starting to lose the midfield battle. Perhaps a player with a little bit more experience in Nicky Featherstone might be able to help them wrest some control back. Not perfect, but nonetheless plenty of positive signs. I think there's a lot to like about Miley. I think he's going to be a really good player.
Perhaps one to take over the mantle from Nicky Featherstone. Internally, at least that is the idea, as Hargreaves out to the right hand side. Aldershot on the attack. It's 1-1. It's BBC Radio T Sport on 95 FM, DAB, digital radio, online and on BBC Sounds. Aldershot with Frost, the man who scored the own goal to put Pools into the lead in the first half. Aldershot have drawn back level in this second 45 as Gary Medine holds the ball up, shields it with his body and finds Featherstone his first touch of the afternoon. Pools in the left back position of the pitch. Featherstone looking for Joe Gray, just out-muscled there on the ball was Gray, and a back pass towards Jenkins. Campbell tried to close him down, but Jenkins does well and then hits a diagonal ball out to Frost, who almost beats Sherrin to it, but Sherrin, for safekeeping, thunders the ball out into touch for a throw-in to the home side. And there is a real buzz around this ground now. There is a real belief, perhaps, that the shots can complete the turnaround. Pools need to try and stem that momentum, stem that confidence, and Ollie Scott gets past Charman. Now skipping infield is Frost, who's been really busy lately. Ollie Scott to the back post, and it's an opportunity that goes begging. David Ferguson was there to touch it behind when it seemed like Aldershot had the man over on the back post. Good defending from Ferguson, but a corner to Aldershot as the pressure continues to mount on the Pools goal.
Was absolutely brilliant defending by David Ferguson. I think he's potentially saved a goal there, but Pools have lost their structure, they've lost their shape. As I say, they can't get a foot in the game, they don't have a foothold at all, they can't get any control, they're really struggling.
Taking a short corner, and it's a goal! A shot from distance! And would you believe it? Cameron Hargreaves from about 20 yards out, running across the box, let rip through a crowd of bodies, and Adam Smith will not want to see that again, because he spilled it into the net. Whether it took a touch, a bobble or a bounce, either way it found a way past the Pools keeper, and Aldershot complete the comeback. 1-0 down in the first half, 2-1 up in the second. Aldershot 2, Pools 1.
We said, Rob, really that it felt like it had been coming. Pools just haven't been able to turn the tide in this second half when it's been pretty much all Aldershot. I felt Adam Smith might have been slightly disappointed with his role in the opening goal, parried it into a really dangerous area, albeit he saw it through a crowd of bodies. This one, I don't think there can be any doubt. I think he'll be bitterly disappointed. I think that the strike from distance certainly does take a bobble that maybe deceives him, but he'll be absolutely gutted, because as I say, he's been so impressive in recent weeks. Is not one he will want to watch back again. But Pools have got to do something, because they've been outclassed in the second half. You can feel it in the ground that the momentum is all with Aldershot, but someone needs to take the game by the scruff of the neck. They need someone to stand up and really be counted right now, because at the moment it's all the home side.
Joe Gray trying to change things, and Campbell wanted a give and go. It didn't come off, and now it's a goal kick, and all the shouts and all the infighting that we had in the first half, and more so in the second, have dampened, and there is a jubilant atmosphere in the ground. We are right amongst all the home support, but from a Pools perspective and the travelling fans over on the far side, it is a similar story. Taking the lead, not being able to take the chances when they come, and then being punished for it. Switching off at vital moments, and Pools making a change as Adam Campbell comes off. He goes to take a seat on the bench and looks a very frustrated figure. He is replaced by Manny Dizaruwe, who turned 30 on Thursday, and I'm sure would have hurt him that he was dropped this afternoon, as Gary Medine closes his man down and causes Jenkins to put the ball out into touch for a Pools throw, just up from the corner flag away to our right. Gary Medine and Manny Dizaruwe in conversation at the top end of the pitch. Anthony Limbrick has 20 minutes left to try and salvage something from this game. He's making the changes. Sharon delivers a cross to the front post. It's through to Medine. Can he get it out of his feet? He can't. And Will Armitage can run it clear for Aldershot, as Barrett's calling for it on this left-hand side. Nathan Sharon was nowhere near him. Luckily for him, the man on the ball didn't spot the run, and instead Adam Smith has it firmly in his grasp as we tick round to the 70-minute mark. Aldershot 2, Hartlepool United 1 on BBC Radio T's Sport. A second half that has sparked into life, and you have to say the changes from Tommy Widrington is what's really changed the game in the second 45, Robbie.
Yeah, I think it felt like the game was already beginning to turn at the end of the first half, but obviously the decision to introduce Maxwell Mullins, much maligned by some fans, one in particular, has proven to be a real masterstroke. I think Aldershot have been more energetic, they've been a bit more dynamic, the fans are obviously right behind them. Now, it feels a bit, to me, Rob, like the home side want it more at the minute. Pools are just a bit flat, they're a bit tepid, they're a bit tentative. Anthony Limbrick has tried to make changes, but Pools have got to do something to change this game.
Dizaruwe into Charman, 25 yards out, centre of the pitch, drifting out to the right hand side. Sharon is the option, short, he goes to him now. Charman and Sharon combine, cross from Sharon is blocked, behind for a corner. Pool's third of the game. The attendance confirmed this afternoon, 2,203. That includes 132 who've made the journey from Hartlepool this afternoon, and credit to every single one of them. Many of them making the journey in the early hours of the morning, not knowing for sure if this game was going to be on or not, with a 10:30 pitch inspection. The Pool's support incredible once again. David Ferguson with the corner to the back post, headed away. Medine picks it up right on the edge of the box, lays it off for Joe Gray. His cross is blocked at close range. He keeps it in, does Gray, needs some help as he tries to turn past his man, and Gray's judged to have fouled his man. Free kick in the right back position for Aldershot. And now Aldershot going to make some more changes of their own. Will Armitage is coming off, and Christian Magoma, the man coming on to replace him. Well, Pools we're looking to make it back-to-back away wins for the first time since the start of the season this afternoon, before a ball was kicked. And it's looking more and more like it will be the taste of defeat. There is still time, and we certainly have the firepower on the pitch to change that with the arrival of Dizarouwe and Joe Gray. As Featherstone helps the ball forward, flicked on by by Medine, beg your pardon, picked up by Dizarouwe. Medine's in some discomfort there. It looks like his left shoulder or his elbow, and he's almost doubled over in pain there, Gary Medine, as play carries on. Aldershot have cleared it up into the Pool's half. Oh, headed back from Sharon that was almost straight into the path of Josh Barrett, but instead it fell the way of Adam Smith. Gary Medine still struggling as Luke Charman lets the ball drop over his shoulder. You hear the pat as the ball hits the surface. This side of the pitch, which is covered in sand. And the ball cleared into touch for a Pool's throw. Medine does not look comfortable at all, Robbie.
No, he doesn't at all, and he's not really the type to complain unless something is seriously wrong. Pool certainly won't want to lose him, especially at this stage in the game.
As Medine ends up down on the turf, but Dizarouwe keeps the ball moving. Picked up though by Cameron Hargreaves, and then looking forward for Barham once more. Intercepted though by Pools. Ferguson in the left back position, up to the halfway line for Joe Gray. Back to goal though, so this will be, if it stays like this, back-to-back defeats for Pools. One win in 5. In fact, be one win in 9 if it was to stay like this. Pools with a free kick, an offside flag following an Aldershot attack. It's Tommy Widrington. You can hear barking instructions down onto the pitch in front of us. As Luke Waterfall is being closed down by Maxwell Mullins and has to be mindful of that, and he is. Waterfall using every inch of his experience there to put that into touch.
They just haven't looked comfortable though, Pools. Second half in particular. Aldershot get a lot of bodies forward from midfield, and I'm not really satisfied that Pools do enough to track those runners. That makes it very difficult for the two centre halves. The fullbacks have overlapped well. That's caused issues, and it just feels like it's very difficult for Pools to turn the tide of this game. Yes, Aldershot are scrapping for their lives down at the bottom, but Pools, on paper at least, so we keep hearing, still have something to play for. Indeed, a playoff place to play for, but they haven't really played today like a side who have to win to get into the top 7. It feels very much like a season that is going to just fizzle out. If I'm honest, Rob, things could change in this final 15 minutes. This looks more like a side to me that will finish in the bottom half than the top 7.
And you can see as you scan the pitch now, the body language of the players, many chins sunken to chests. Nicky Featherstone shaking his head as Gary Medine has been brought off following that issue. Looks to be with his his left elbow or his hand, but Medine goes off and Sam Folarin comes on to replace him. Free kick to Aldershot. Barrett floats one to the edge of the area, headed up but not out, and Desiree helps complete the clearance, as does Parks, looking for Sam Folarin to race onto. Bounces off him and to Featherstone. Into Folarin, looks to try and use his acceleration to get past his man. He beats one, cuts infield. He's got Desiree and Joe Gray for company. Instead, he picks out Charman, whose shot is well saved by Dewhurst. Good work from Folarin there. Amazing run, cut infield, picked out Charman, who tried to curl it right-footed, but a big save from Dewhurst to deny Pools an equaliser.
Yeah, it was a good effort. I'm not sure he could have done much more with that. As you say, really good work from Sam Folarin. We haven't seen that much of him since he signed from Harrogate last month, and the goalkeeper's had a good game, hasn't he? A really good strong hand, another strong stop.
Corner to Pools, their fourth of the game. David Ferguson gives the signal. A left-footed delivery as Pools search for an equaliser right on top of the goalkeeper and headed away. In desperation by Aldershot, Featherstone tries to race onto it as he goes shoulder to shoulder with Hargreaves, and Hargreaves gets the beating of him. Hargreaves streaming through on goal. It's 3v2. Hargreaves to the right hand side, picks out Barham. His shot is saved, but Pools haven't cleared it. Barham might get a second opportunity as he circles away from danger. Now out to Jones, another opportunity for Aldershot, but the shot is blocked, and the home side have their fifth corner of the game. Hartlepool United scrambling to get bodies back there to defend their own goal.
And Aldershot have attacked really well. They're a massive threat on the counter, but Pools look so leggy, Rob. Watching them, it has such unsettling echoes of this time last season when we looked at this Pools squad, this Pools side, and thought they need a complete overhaul if they're going to succeed next term, and it's starting to have the feeling of that again. Pools look like they've got problems all over the pitch.
Josh Barrett to deliver this corner. It's an out swinger. Shot blocked at close quarters. Pools haven't cleared. Edge of the area. Another shot, this time from Luca Woodhouse, that's charged down by Pools, and it spirals out to the left hand side as Nathan Sherron's won it. Sam Folarin has space to run into. Pools a 3v2. Folarin tries to drive past his man, and he does. He needs to deliver in towards Joe Gray. Desiree! Manny Desiree levels with 10 minutes left to play. Sam Folarin showed his pace. He just wanted it more, but he still had to provide the cross. Gray was the dummy, Desiree was the real deal, and he buried it. And how's that for your 30th birthday present? Desiree levels it. It's Aldershot 2, it's Pools 2.
Great work from Sam Folarin. Again, he's made a real impact since coming on. We were both a bit surprised, weren't we, that Desiree was left on the bench, especially given his excellent record against Aldershot. And once that ball came across, a really deft dummy from Joe Gray, he was never going to miss.
Manny Desiree with the goal to drag Pools level. And there's still 10 minutes to play. Hunter feeds the run of Sam Folarin, but desperately Ollie Scott scrambles across the front of him to put it out into touch, and now the heavens open. The rain driving down into the face of the players. It's like somebody's just turned the tap on in Hampshire. Chap next to me just said it's been an open game, hasn't it? You're absolutely right. This second half has been end to end, and now with the rain driving down, that will just add even more to contend with. as Kidderminster have got a goal back against Spennymoor in the National League North. Kidderminster 1, Spennymoor Town 2. Can the Moors hold on? Here there's a stoppage in play. Aldershot have a man down. Well, Manny Desirue, so often last season, he was the one positive out of a frustrating campaign. Many asking just how he managed to score 25 goals in that team. His target this season, he said he wanted to match or better. Well, he'll have to go a long way to do that now. But make that his 13th goal of the campaign. But all the work was done by Sam Falarin. And you said it, Robbie, you know, we're yet to really see what Sam Falarin is all about.
Isn't he? But
we're seeing good evidence this afternoon, aren't we?
And also, he hasn't had that many opportunities. It's difficult as well when you're only getting 15-20 minutes at the end of games. I know he started the other day, but he's played in a number of different positions well, and I don't think that's necessarily helped. He's clearly got electric pace. We saw that when he took Pools apart in a Harrogate shirt on New Year's Day in 2023 in that thrilling 3-3 draw. Pools have lacked a bit of pace at times this season as well. He's one for the future, but he's also got to make sure he's one for the present. Pools will want to see him finish the season strongly. He's got that running power. It's important that he also adds that end product, and he certainly showed there he has it in him to provide the necessary clinicality and cutting edge that will help him break into this team.
As Emmanuel Madger has come on to replace Luke Jenkins, Pools have a throw-in, taken quickly, cross from Sharon, headed away. Ferguson hooks it back up into the slate grey sky. The rain has subsided for the meantime. That will not help the pitch, will it, at all? Which has already been cutting up, been very boggy. And Manny Desirue gets a little shove in the back from Luca Woodhouse as Pools now step out from the back with David Ferguson, left hand side of the pitch, down the line to Desirue, holds it up on the edge of the area, stands his man up, tries to lay it low into the box, or sliding challenge from Featherstone that's late, and he lets out a bark of frustration, and that is a yellow card for Nicky Featherstone, and that was as clear a yellow as you're going to see all afternoon.
Yes, a very firm challenge. He was never going to get to the ball either, was he, Rob? But nonetheless, he did at least manage to stop another Aldershot counter, because as I've said before, they do attack with real good pace and in real numbers. You can potentially see why they've conceded plenty of goals this season, but they clearly pose a real good goal threat as well.
7 minutes left to play. BBC Radio T Sport on 95 FM, DAB, digital radio, and on BBC Sounds. Thank you as always for listening to us, however, wherever you're listening to us. To Paul and Carter, we mentioned right at the start of the programme. Carter's got his wish this afternoon. His favourite player, Manny Desirue, finding the back of the net on his first game. Watching Pools. Turns 6 next week. His dad's opened him up for a world of punishment, hasn't he? It's the hope that kills us, isn't it? As Pools on the attack. Ferguson, left-hand side, crosses low and takes a ricochet off the ankles of Aaron Jones, and Pools have a corner. Their 6th of the game. 5 minutes left to play. It's 2-2 on BBC Radio T Sport. And the rain again starts to hammer down into the turf and onto the players. Featherstone with the corner. Pools searching for a winner. Parks tries to get there. Headed away again, and this time out for another Pools corner, as much as the home fans disagree. Second chance from the corner. Featherstone floats it up. Desirue gets his head to it, but heads it wide. And the chance goes. Desirue loves playing against Aldershot.
He certainly does. He got up really well, Rob. I thought he was going to score.
Yep. He had 4 in his last 3 against the Shots before coming into this afternoon's game. So that's 5 in 4 now for him. He was very close to making it 6 in 4. Oh, it's a goal kick from Marcus Dewhurst. It was low and straight out of play for a Pools throw-in on the halfway line. You could hear the oohs and the groans of frustration from the home fans as that one fired out of play. 4 minutes left to go. 2-2. Pools at Aldershot in the National League. Remains Darlington 1, Kings Lynn 0 in the National League North, and it's Kidderminster 1, Spennymoor Town 2, also in the National League North. Here, Pools on the attack. Featherstone into the area. Desirue holds his man off, tries to turn him, wants some support. He gives it out to this right-hand side for Nathan Sherrin. Bodies flooding the box for Pools as the rain continues to fall in Hampshire. Hunter plucks the ball out of the air. Needs some help, but then just stabs it into the path of Magoma, who clears. Now Mullins picks it up on the halfway line as Aldershot have a rare attack. They've been under the cosh for the last 10 or 15 minutes. But now they have space and time to build their own move. Left-hand side with Barrett. He's got Frost on the overlap. Frost at the byline, and it ricochets off. Waterfall behind for a corner.
Pools are just a bit disjointed, aren't they? You can see what they're trying to do, but it's not quite working. Well, would a draw, given that their playoff hopes are all but over anyway, be the end of the world? Not necessarily. There have been some positives, but I don't think it's been a great performance, and probably Aldershot, if any team's going to win it, you'd probably say the home side deserve to.
Barrett with the corner, ahead of goalwards. Oh, big save from Smith, and then he gathers it at the second attempt. The corner swung in ahead of goalwards. It looked destined for the back of the net, but Adam Smith denied Aldershot, not for the first time this afternoon. Then it's fired up to Sam Falarin, holds it up, gives it to Desirue. Featherstone joining the attack, out to the left-hand side for Charman. Infield, Desirue back to goal, gets ushered away from goal, so has to find Featherstone. Now Charman once more, hugging the touchline over on the far side. We're into the 88th minute. It's 2-2. David Ferguson just sees the ball bobble out of his feet and stabbed out for a throw-in by Magoma. Taken quickly by Pools. Featherstone out to Ferguson. Down the line he goes, looking for Falarin, but Falarin had strayed beyond the last defender, and the ironic cheers and jeers mean that it is an Aldershot free kick.
And it was a brilliant stop by Adam Smith, wasn't it, Rob? He probably won't be best pleased with his involvement in either of the goals, but he made two superb saves in the first half, and he's made another one there.
Joe Gray, Luke Charman, I beg your pardon, does well to keep it in. Desirue under pressure goes back to Featherstone, and Pools have conceded a free kick just short of the halfway line in Aldershot territory, taken quickly by Magoma. Up top it goes, now to Barrett, receives it from Barham, out to Frost on the left hand side, running at Sherrin. Frost inside the area, the shot is scuffed into the turf, and it trickles through to Adam Smith, who gathers. Wanted the quick release out to the left, but wasn't quite on, so Smith holds on to it as we enter the 89th minute. Oh, the big goal kick from Smith almost made its way through to Desirue. Who's in your thinking for your man of the match this afternoon, Robbie? Who do you think stood out from a Pools perspective?
I think it would probably have to be, I think Nathan Sherrin's had a good solid game. Again, I always like him at right back, but I think Luke Charman has been the one that stood out for me, Rob.
Desirue inside the area, at the angle! Florin is there as it's cut back inside the 6-yard box, but it's fired behind for a corner, and Sam Falarin sits a frustrated figure inside the 6-yard area. That was a chance, but he just couldn't get in front of his man.
And both those changes, Desirue and Sam Falarin, have made a massive difference. Excellent play by Desirue. Sam Falarin, he's almost in the right place, isn't he? You would have liked to see him just be a little bit more on his toes, take a risk to get himself in front of the man. You have to say it's excellent defending. But both of those two, Falarin and Desirue, have made a real impact since they've come on.
We have 6 minutes of stoppage time, which we're into now. Pools with the corner. Featherstone to the front post, headed away. Only as far as Hunter, who urges calm as he spins the ball out to the left for Featherstone. He collects it now. Takes 3 touches. Then down the line to Joe Gray. Looks to turn and swivel past his man, but that avenue is closed momentarily. Featherstone finds a way through to Charman. The cross takes a deflection, falls for Parks inside the area. Oh, and then he tried to play in Joe Gray. It didn't come off. And Marcus Dewhurst has hold of the ball and he booms it long into the Pools half of the pitch, headed away by Ferguson. It gives Chance Poole some vital time to get Sky Blue shirts back inside their own half. Madja infield, but Pools have the numbers advantage there and are able to swarm around the ball to win it. The clearance from Smith is straight to the forehead of Hargreaves, and then Featherstone clears it straight back to Hargreaves once more. Barrett now for Aldershot, 20 yards out, looking to get it on his right foot. Oh, he's dropped the shoulder, and out comes Smith brilliantly. Adam Smith to scramble at the feet of the Aldershot striker, and he's launched it out to the left hand side for Charman. Joe Gray and Desiree in front of him. Gray makes a run, good defending from Woodhouse to stop that move in its tracks. The ball falls to the feet of Featherstone just beyond the halfway line. Centre of the pitch. 2-2 on BBC Radio T Sport. 6 minutes of stoppage time, 2 have elapsed. Gray into Falarin on the 18-yard line, tries to find Desiree, gets it back. Falarin shot, it's spilled by the goalkeeper, claimed at the second attempt and balled out underarm for Frost, who has space to run into, and Poole's now looking tired, trying to get back. Frost forced infield by Sherrin, that was good work from him. Madja out to the right hand side as the shots attack, looking to switch it out to Frost once more. Falarin back in position. Now Madja as the move slows. Frost skipping infield. Now Magoma. Aldershot being patient. The cross blocked by Charman. And out it goes for a throw-in. Nobody is leaving here early.
Well, both sides are playing like they need to win the game, aren't they, Rob?
Exactly. Robbie Stelling from the Hartlepool Mail with us on BBC Radio T Sport this afternoon. Aldershot in possession. Out it comes again to Tyler Frost. Down the line to Ollie Scott. Looks to get the beating of Joe Gray, but Gray does well to get a block on that cross. And it goes out for an Aldershot throw, taken quickly. Madja, a mountain of a man as he squares it to Magoma. Also another mountain of a man on the halfway line. Infield to Hargreaves, takes a touch, scans the pitch. Square to Madja. Now out to the left once more for Frost, who's been a constant outlet in this second half. And he skips past Gray. Looks to float one to the back post, a free header to the back post! And tapped in! And Aldershot have surely won it right at the death with 94 minutes on the clock. And Josh Barrett taps in from 2 yards out, headed back across the face of goal. Barrett was there, Smith was stranded, and Aldershot have wrapped up 3 vital points while Pools fall to defeat yet again. Aldershot 3, Pools 2, and surely that is all she wrote.
Again, today it's just felt to me like Aldershot needed 3 points, a little bit more. Barrett has been everywhere, he's tried everything to unlock the Pools defence. It's really, really poor Pools defending. Adam Smith is absolutely furious at his defenders. They sat off, they made Aldershot's life far too easy, they were too deep, they failed to deal with the original ball, they failed to deal with the header down. And I think, if I'm honest, Rob, a 2-2 draw probably would have papered over some pretty significant Pools cracks. It looks like it's going to be a massive result for Aldershot. Pools are heading for another season of stagnation, if not regression. More mid-table mediocrity for long-suffering supporters. Hugely disappointing for Pools, massive for Aldershot, and I think it's just a case of the home side wanting it more.
And Josh Barrett gets a round of applause from the home fans as he is replaced by Dan Ellison. Anthony Limerick down in the Pools technical area stands with a scowl across his face, his arms folded and chewing heavily on that gum. But Pools have not been at their best again this afternoon. A change in formation has not led to a change in fortunes. And Adam Smith launches this ball long, looking for Desirue, who meets it. Falarin gives it out to the right-hand side for Sharon. Looks to deliver, but is blocked by Hargreaves. And again, you talk about want and desire, and Hargreaves there was never going to allow Nathan Sharon to deliver that cross.
Exactly right. And they've run themselves into the ground, Aldershot, you have to say. They've really played for the shirt this afternoon. They have done very well.
Sharon. The cross is poor and easily cleared by Aldershot. Parks goes in. Play on, says the referee. Barham wins it. Mulligans is sprinting down the left. He's got bodies in the box to choose from. Mullins picks it out to Barham. Tries to beat Smith, but Smith outstretches a leg to clear the danger. And there is the full-time whistle. Aldershot celebrate. That is a huge result in their fight to avoid relegation from the National League. But Hartlepool United's fight was not enough. It was a fight that they never really looked like winning after Aldershot equalised following an own goal in the first half. Maxwell Mullins off the bench to some frustration from the home fans, but Tommy Widrington would be proved right in his decision making in the second half as Maxwell Mullins scrambled in from about 2 yards out, and then the turnaround complete on 67 minutes, a short corner where Pools just turned off, and Hargreaves from 20 yards out let his shot fly through a crowd of bodies, and it caught out Adam Smith in the Pools goal as it bounced over him to put Aldershot 2-1 into the lead. Pools levelled at 2-2 with 10 minutes left to go, and you felt like just maybe they might be able to salvage something as Sam Falarin on in the second half stretched his legs down this near side, beat his man, cut in field, delivered a beautiful teasing cross for Manny Desirue, who arrived and hit it right-footed first time into the back of the net. But from that point, Aldershot pushed and pressured, and as Robbie Stelling quite rightly said, they just wanted it more. And with 6 minutes of stoppage time in the 94th minute, it was that man who was a constant thorn in the second half, the same man who scored an own goal in the first half, Tyler Frost, onto his right foot, lifted it to the back post. Barham was there to head back across the face of the goal, and Josh Barrett was on hand to tap in from 2 yards out and secure all 3 points for Aldershot. Pools suffer back-to-back defeats, and their misery continues and is compounded. The playoffs are done, and Pools now face serious questions about where this club is going. And as the home fans celebrate, the travelling Poolies, all 132 of them, applaud their players off the pitch, but many already making their way out of the ground, and you can imagine their frustration. Full time, Aldershot 3, Pools 2. Robbie Selling.
There are problems at Pools, Rob, make no mistake about it. How many times have we had this conversation? Pools are rudderless, they're directionless, they lack purpose. What's their footballing identity? I certainly can't see one. 3 managers in a single season, once again 16 managers, 8 caretakers in the last decade. It's no wonder this team is going backwards. It's no wonder Pools are struggling. It's no wonder fans are so frustrated. I felt the best team won today. Aldershot, you could certainly argue, had more to play for. Pools are really stranded in mid-table despite all the messages we hear about wanting to maintain a playoff push. I think most people, even the most optimistic of Pools fans, to be honest, I'm not sure how you can be optimistic as a Pools fan, Rob, would have struggled to make a case for Pools sneaking into the top 7. This has not really ever felt like a playoff side. Huge credit for Aldershot. They were gung-ho, they were brave, they took risks, they were courageous, they battled hard, they fought. Yes, they had the support of the home fans. We had a conversation before, we hope that playing away from home might help Pools. At the moment, I'm not sure what is going to help Pools. They need stability. There will be no success without stability in the dugout. But Anthony Limbrick, he's got a massive job on his hands. He needs support. Pools have got problems on and off the pitch. That's clear to see. Another bitterly frustrating afternoon, Rob.
No success without stability is a good way to put it, Robbie Stelling. It ends, Harry, in frustration yet again, and with more questions than answers. Aldershot 3, Pools 2.
Robbie, just a quick one before you go. You talked about that commentary there about a concern about maybe the confidence, the mentality of those Pools players. Is that last gasp winner there just made life a whole lot worse for those players that are clearly going through a difficult period at the minute?
Yeah, I mean, I think confidence is low. You can see that, and we spoke about, maybe why things have been going the way they have this season for Pools, and Robbie touched upon it brilliantly there. 3 managers this season, a squad built for Darren Sarll at the start of the campaign that lasted just 16 games. So then in comes Lenny Lawrence to play a different way. He takes a step back, and then Anthony Limbrick comes in. He wants to play a different way to Lenny Lawrence. So you have the constant churning of managers, which leads to a squad trying to keep up with who's in charge and the way that they want to play, and that leads to sometimes square pegs in round holes. It also leads to struggling to find patterns of play and passages of play, and also it leads a team struggling to find confidence. And you really struggle to see where Pools go from here, because this, Harry, was, look, with the utmost respect to Aldershot, and they're a fantastic football club, and there's some great people who I know who work for this club and I have the utmost respect for, but this is a game that Pools should have won. Yep. If they are to be serious in the National League, this is a game they should have taken all 3 points from, especially when you take the lead after 20 minutes. They didn't turn the screw, they didn't apply the pressure, they didn't go for the jugular to get that second goal, and it's come back yet again to haunt them. And I just think that, it's only now going to get worse, because the teams that they are up against from now on, the next game is against York City, who I think may have lost today against Halifax, but that is a terrifying fixture if you're a Hartlepool United fan, because and it being at home as well, so the pressure really is going to be on. There's going to be a lot of people who use that as an opportunity, I'm sure, to vent their frustrations. And with the run of games to come, Robbie, you struggle to see where Pools are going to pick up the points from.
I said it on commentary, Rob. This team feels more like a bottom half team to me than a top 7 team. I think to an extent the players are suffering from mismanagement from above. I think that's a big issue. What are Pools trying to do? What does this club want to be? What does this club want to achieve?